All right, y'all, we're going to keep working on functions and function notation and graphing and all that stuff, but we're going to do one last element of function notations characteristics so you can alleviate your fear of function notation, because it's not as challenging as too many students think it is. You just overreact to it. Quit doing that. So hopefully this last piece on function notation will help you. Once again, I'm just going to ask 3 really basic questions. We're going to write these equations. There's only 3 equations. We're simply going to rewrite them in function notation. And so one last piece. You're going to see how simple it really is, and maybe you can cut out overreacting when you see function notation. So function notation, if you remember, basically looks like f of x. You got to remember how to say that. That was in the previous video. And so we're calling that f of x. What we have to remember is that f of x, and I'm smiling while I'm saying this because it's kind of so silly how easy it is. F of x is the output, right? It's what you're going to get back is the dependent variable. And basically what that means is that it's the same thing as y, right? Holy cow, is it that easy? Yeah, dude, it's that easy, man. It's really that easy. So f of x is the same thing as y. So if the directions read, write the equation in function notation, basically once you get y by itself, then replace it with f of x, and that's seriously it. So all you have to do is get y by itself and then replace it with f of x. That's how simple function notation is. And hopefully, if you know that last piece of information, then you can totally overcome your fear. So when we look at that first equation, y equals 3, no joke, seriously, dude. Or my daughter would say, really, dude? I know. So in that first equation, seriously, that's all we have to do is replace y with f of x, and yes, that's seriously all you gotta do. So ta-da! We have now written that equation in function notation, right? So clearly you have your output, which is what goes on, and that's what f of x is. It's showing you all of your dependent variables. In this case, all the dependent variables are 3. No matter what the independent variable is, no matter what the input is, the output is 3. And that's it for that equation. And that's it, man. So let's look at the next equation. If the next equation is 3x plus y equaling 0, well, it's the same process, right? We're going to get y by itself. Once y is by itself, replace that y with f of x. And that's how easy that is. So simply to get y by itself in that second equation, we got to get rid of that 3x by removing it, undoing it, or taking it away. And then you will find out y is by itself, right? So if y is by itself, 0 minus 3x is just negative 3x. Y is by itself, right? So we get y by itself. Now we're going to replace that y with f of x. And again, really, dude? Yeah, really, that's it. And now we have function notation. So y representing the dependent variable, representing the output, and that's what f of x is telling you. F of x is telling you we have a function, and for every input, we're going to have a unique output. That's what f of x is telling you. F of x is guaranteeing what you're looking at as a function. And we're going to actually get way more confusing with that later on this year. But that has nothing to do with function notation. It's just the nature of functions and the nature of using function notation. Because if you use function notation, you're guaranteeing that the formula or whatever you're looking at is a function. Anyway, on to the third one. So now we're going to write that in function notation. Remember, all we have to do first is to get y by itself. Once we get y by itself, money, that easy switch, and we're donezo. And so that's what's going to happen here. So we're going to get y by itself, subtract x on both sides, it's going to be neat to see how I do this, right? So we'll have negative 2y there equaling, and then what the heck is negative 8 minus x? Nothing. Now I can write it, right? I can totally write this last thing as negative 8 minus x. I can do that, but just for future purposes, let's not do that, and let's keep the x first. We'll call that negative x minus 8. And if you don't know why we're doing that yet, don't worry, we will get there. Just know that that's what we're doing. If you do know why we're doing that, good on you. That's where you should be. So clearly y is not by itself yet, and what we're going to do then is divide both sides by negative 2. And I'll caution you, don't leave that. That's messy. So don't leave that. Don't leave that. Clean it up, man. So that's what I say normally. I say clean it up. So clean it up, make it look good. And there's a reason, again, another reason why. And if you don't know why we're cleaning it up, just trust me, do it now, because when you do realize why we're cleaning it up, you'll thank me later. So when I say clean it up, what does that mean? If we have negative x minus 8 over 2, we don't do that. We're not going to, we're going to clean it up. What does that mean? Well, let's separate this fraction. Remember, we can do that. It's like an old trick. If you don't know what's happening here, that's a problem. Go back and fix some stuff. But we're gonna separate this. So basically, we can call it y equals negative x over 2, and then minus 8 over 2. And if you're gonna leave that, just smack yourself. Don't do that. Don't leave that. Negative 8 over 2 is 4. Everyone knows that. So we can clean that up even, and we can call it that. I'm actually okay with this as long as you understand what it means. So I'm okay with it. It's not the best thing in the world, but I'm okay with this. Because can you work with it? Yeah, it's possible. I'm actually more okay with the final answer. But anyway, now we see that y is by itself. We've cleaned up the right-hand side, did some cleaning work. And now that we have y by itself, we're ready. Function notation. Tartar. And this is what I'm actually happier with. So even though I was okay with negative x over 2, I'm actually better with this. Either one is going to be fine. But I can tell more information a whole lot quicker with that last one. And hopefully you can too. So even though I'm okay with negative x over 2, I'm actually better with this. So this is much better. Bloop. And seriously, that's all there is to rewriting equations in the function notation. You get y by itself, replace it with f of x, and that's all you need when we are writing equations in function notation. So thank you very much. Do all of your assignment and get that learning done.